Hey, Paddle Talk and World Sand Drag News fans. You can watch every episode on the World Sand Drag News YouTube, along with all of our other content, which is badass sand drag racing action. Or you can find us on Spotify by searching for Paddle Talk. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well for more content on sand drag racing. Don't forget to check out our website, worldsandragnews.com, for our list of world records, a schedule of events, articles from past races, and much more. Don't forget, buy our sponsor stuff. On today's show, we talk about the unfortunate rain out for Dave's first series race, Southern Powersports Drag Racing Series. We talk about race results from Avenal and the accidents that occurred there. We also quickly recap Silverback Hill Climb and Brazoria Mud Drags. And then we preview some races coming up this weekend, and we talk about some big races coming up next weekend, including the Outlaw Sand Drag Series and the MRA race, Mud Racing Association race in Panama City, Florida.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk brought to you by Racing in the Dirt coming out of Wisconsin. Scott and Shane Ohlrogge and the crew up there, your source for all kinds of good stuff. They are real wheel dealers. They are also scat track dealers. They can do cut tires, everything from ground up chassis builds to all your supplies needed to get that car together in the last couple weeks here for racing season. Check them out on the internet, racinginthedirt.com, on Facebook. You can find them or get a hold of them directly.
Just me and Damian right now. We're going to start with some race results, and we can either start with excuse me, Brazoria, or we can start with Silverback Hill Climb.
I will go with the smaller one, the hill climb.
Okay.
More along the basics. Let's see here. Let's pull these results back up. So let's see here. Stock side by side, James Abraham, a 385. I believe it's a 100-foot hill they're running there. To the timers, I'm not 100% certain anymore. Do you know?
I think it was 100 foot. And yes, I remember Kyle, who we talked to with Brody. I seen him on a Facebook post answering somebody else's question who asked the same thing. Is it 100 foot? And yes, it was. And what class? You said stock side by side was James Abraham, right?
Yep. And then second place was Nick Nyberger or Nick. Yeah, Nyberger is what I'll go with there. With a 423. N-I-B-E-R-G-R.
Okay, my bad. I don't even know why I said that. Nick Nyberger. Well, yeah, we'll say that.
Then buggy D class, which I'm guessing is your standard Volkswagen trail buggies, dune buggies. Nothing too exotic. Dan Longnecker, 353. He's a regular bracket racer up there at Silverback.
Yeah.
Go
to buggy E class.
Buggy E class again. Dan Longnecker with a 290. So picking up the pace there.
Yeah. You wonder if he ran the same car.
I think he did. I think it was a difference in the track prep. Because there is a video of the full event on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll grab that here.
While he's doing that, we're going to move on to the Truck 1 results. And Dave Applegate is just now joining us. Give him a second. Truck 1 results. We had first place Larry Broker.
I will look that up as well.
Yeah, we're gonna call him Larry Brocker.
Okay, it was our buddies over at Boosted Adrenaline, Michael McCord and his family and whatnot posting that.
Okay, cool. Well, shout out to Michael McCord. Anyway, Truck 1 first place, Larry Brocker. Look at 250. That's moving pretty good.
That's probably at he runs a dune Jeep, 4-seater Jeep that's green, big hood scoop on it.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. And then Truck 2 class, first place Tanner Newbern, 2.03 was his ET. Second place, Jeff Miller, 2.26.
Let's see what trucks he got.
and that was truck 2. Dave
I'm
Applegate just joined us.
these
What's up,
guys
Dave?
up on Facebook right now as we go to figure out what vehicles they got in the video here.
He's looking for that. Truck 3. I don't know what the difference between these truck classes are. Do you, Damian?
Not right offhand. I really do not.
Okay, well, it looks like truck 1 may be the slower class, and truck 2,
Right, closer to stock probably.
well, maybe, I don't know. I have no idea because
One
truck
of the
2.
class I believe allows nitrous.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay, truck 3, first place, Randy Haima ran a 2.11, and second place, Tanner Newburn, who got first place in truck 2. He got second place in truck 3, running a 2.26. Probably same vehicle, maybe. I don't know.
Randy Hiner, let's see.
Probably
I
the
believe
big
he has-
story.
I
Probably the
think
big.
that is the green Jeep.
Okay, I got
Not
you.
not their wine time Jeep, but the green Jeep, the OG.
Yeah, I got you. That thing is cool. But probably the big story from that weekend, or excuse me, yeah, that weekend at Silverback, the hill climb, Jason Vanderwall in that beautiful black truck, getting that video. I believe it has somewhere close to 500,000 views on Facebook. Ran a 1.765 in that 100-foot hill and getting it done. And that
That
thing is
is
awesome.
absolutely flying. Halthus performance. He has got some major horsepower vehicles that he's working on. He actually works on, and now I'm going to spoil the night before at their testing and tuning and racing the night before there. The green Jeep team with their other Jeep, Wine Time, actually broke the ET end of the record for A Sport Mod and A Sport Mod 4-wheel drive with a 310 and a 309.
That's right, because they had the test and tune the day before. So that was really cool to see that from that camp. It's really exciting.
I don't know if that's the Steve Morris or Halthus in that motor or in that Jeep, but still, there's so many different big engine builders up there. They're building massive motors. They're sticking pro chargers, turbos, and nitrous on them.
For sure. But Jason Vanderwall, King of the Hill, and he got first place in the X class. Second place was Charlie Willis running a 1.879. And then the King of the Hill winner was, of course, Jason Vanderwall. And they had a Queen of the Hill award with that went to Brendan Willis, and because no female drivers registered. So they
were having some fun with it.
Yeah, that's definitely funny. That's funny to see that.
But they had some pretty trucks. From what I heard, about 20 or so cars entered the hill climb, which is down from years past. It's such a neat event. It's such a cool event. It's not exactly the most challenging hill, not like Gravel Rama, not like Monson, but it's still a hill climb that has some heritage to it, even though they've moved it off of the dunes. It used to be, they used to do this hill climb, and it used to be called the Mount Baldy Hill Climb, and they would run it on Mount Baldy on the Silver Lake Sand Dunes.
I got you. Well, cool. Well, first of all, Dave, what's up, bro?
What's happening, guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Good deal. Yeah, the green's not showing up around me, but as long as you can hear me, then we're good.
Yeah, I can see you.
Good deal. I'm fighting the South Carolina mosquitoes right now. So if you see me doing this, you'll know what I'm doing.
Are you outside?
No, I'm in the garage, but the door's open.
Oh,
and
okay.
The South Carolina mosquitoes they wear sombrero hats and cigars hanging out of their mouth. They're legit down here.
They're flying down around like an Apache, are they?
Oh yeah, you can hear them. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm going to get a couple of them zip timed to my roll cage. That'll help me go faster down the racetrack. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ain't got a clutch in it, you're going to need all the help you can get.
Yeah, there's the clutch. Don't know if you'll be able to see it, but she is busted big time.
You'll have that on them high performance cars.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's one of the reasons when you called me, I was on the phone. I had just gotten on the phone with Lonnie. Lonnie went and got him something to eat. And, Lonnie called me back from Angel Performance, and we got to order a place with all the Well, he's going to place it in the morning. It's too late tonight, but he'll have it all placed in the morning, and we'll be back rolling again. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Part of racing.
Yeah. Well, hey, since we got Dave right here, let's go ahead and talk about this past weekend, the Southern Powersports Drag Racing Series first event held at Lumber River Sand Drag, or excuse me, Lumber River Dirt. Oh my God. It's
Sand
Lumber
drag.
River Sand Drags. Yeah, because Cycle Drag kept posting dirt drags, so I got confused. But yes, Lumber River Sand Drags in Maxton, North Carolina. Dave took his series that he built to that race track for his first series race, and they got a good show in Friday, it looked like. But then the Mother Nature came in and just did not allow. Well, I don't know how much. Dave, tell us about Friday, and then tell us how much you guys got in on Saturday before Mother Nature came.
All right, so Friday was really good. We had, man, Friday night from their tower past the guardrail, and their guardrail is probably 100 feet past the finish line. It was lined up with spectators. I never asked Robbie how many spectators they got, but my guess would be at least minimal 300. They pull in a good amount of people there. Racers started off early. It was like 30. I think we ended, I don't know the exact number, but I think it was close to 60. But there was many that called and said, hey, man, we're not going to make the drive. They messaged me and said, it's just Mother Nature's coming in. We're going to hold off. So, and I don't blame them.
So you still got a great showing just from that.
Yes, Friday was a blast. So we was going to do like a bracket or a quick 8, something like that. And I talked to some of the guys, and they're like, nah, man, no, we're good. You got Cycle Drag here. Don't know how you got him here, but we are having a ball with him. We just want to go up and down the track and have fun. And that's what they did. That's fine with me. So Saturday rolled, and it was so comical because Friday night I was walking back up to the starting line, and I seen Jack, from Cycle Drag, and he's got his phone, and he's kind of doing one of these. He's, his head's kind of noggin, and I'm like, Jack. He's like, yeah. I'm like, you all right? He goes, oh yeah, buddy, I'm good. Where do you want me to be? And I'm like, go to the hotel, dude. Go get you some sleep. And he's like, oh, thank you. Well, he had just got back from California, so he hadn't had much. I mean, he hadn't had much sleep at all. So, and that had to have been 10:45. And they were still running. So he had a blast. Austin Hall, a good friend of mine out of Georgia, let him ride his dirt bike down the track and let him ride it around, and he loved that.
That video was awesome. He was he killed it. He did nice.
Yeah, and I don't know how to edit all that, so I sent 3 or 4 videos to Caleb, and Caleb edited it and put it on World Sand Drag News. So I'll tell you, it was well worth getting.
I was wondering I was about to say, there's no way Dave put this video together. How did he do this?
Yeah, not me. Nah. But I was glad to get him there. I can tell you I've had multiple messages from people, phone calls saying, when's he coming back? So I've reached out to him, and I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. It depends on his schedule. So, but totally. Man, the amount of views and the amount of, publicity that we gained from just Jack being there. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but Lug Nut Productions, a guy named Josh was there, and he's fairly new, but he does a lot of circle track stuff, and he did really well. He had a lot of good videos out there and stuff, and what was cool that Jack and Josh talked and kind of learned from each other. That was good. So It was a good weekend. Saturday morning started out pretty good. Things were looking good. We had a little bit of a rain come in around, I think it was about 11:30-ish, something like that. Lasted, I'm not kidding you, less than 5 minutes. And sun didn't come out, but it was nice. So we figured, well, let's go with it. So everybody was trying to get a few hits in just before we started. Then it started again about 1 o'clock. It went away. And about 2:30, it hit, and it never stopped until like 7:38 that night. Oh. The funny thing was, while it was raining, the guys with the stock machines asked Lumber River, hey, can we play around? And they said, just not from the starting line. So they went down a little bit, about 80-foot mark, and my God, they were going. It was hilarious. They had so much fun, man. It was a great time. It really was. It was unfortunate that it got canceled. The good thing is the money that was given out for that is now going into the other 5 races, and we also picked up 2 sponsors. So the race at Silverback now has $5,700 coming to it.
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
What's the date? What's the date for Silverback?
Silverback, as you guys know, and hopefully if no one else knows, you need to know this. If Silverback puts on a date or a race, they have to let the township know. So my race is the 13th through the 16th, but we are not racing on the 13th or the 16th. They had to put them dates in because people will be staying there. So the race is actually the 14th and the 15th, Friday and Saturday. So people are more than welcome to come in Thursday, more than welcome to stay Saturday night and head out on Sunday. For the one class, we got Pro Comp, which is the trucks against the side-by-sides. We are now having that at, I've got $2,000 guaranteed to first place. Ooh. Not counting 75% payback on top of it. So looking forward to that one. We was able to move.
Damian, make that a short.
Which one's that?
What he just said. Make that a YouTube short or a Facebook reel, and we'll post it.
All right.
There we go. We also have the other 2 outlaw classes that'll be there. It went from $1,000 to the winner plus 75% to $1,200 to the winner plus 75%. So everything went up. Hoping to have a good turnout. And we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited about it. I am, and I couldn't have done it with a lot of people, man. It wasn't just me. There was a lot of buddies that helped me, not counting the sponsors. I mean, if I was to name the sponsors off now, I'm going to go for it. We got a second, right?
Yeah.
All right. I don't have them written in front of me. Yes, I do. We got Mr. RPM Cycle, the Bomb Racing, which is Jeff Ross, MP Racing, which is Michael Pollard, Wayland Speed R&D, Murray Powersports, HCL Contractors, Angel Performance, Bernie Racing, Retro Quad, National Junior Dirt Drags, and we picked up equipment repair repair and services out of North Carolina. They are a Centebogen dealer, so we actually have Centebogen, which is kind of strange because I work for Company Wrench, and we are the world's largest Fuchs dealer, which is a competitor of Centebogen. So kind of funny how that worked out. But yeah, we got a great bunch of sponsors and other people that's helping. So if you can make it to Silverback, it's going to be a good one.
June 13th through the 16th. Race days are the 14th and 15th, Friday and Saturday. Be there. He's got money to give out. That's awesome,
correct.
Dave.
Yeah, and we got some goodies. I got some Snap-on stuff. I got some Cornwell stuff. I've got Milwaukee things as well that we're going to be giving out. So there's plenty.
Hey,
and the kids, the World Wrestling, the wrestling belts. We've got them.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. We got belts.
Yep.
That's awesome. Sham, I can't be there, but I'll be getting married that weekend. So that's my big moment that weekend. But yeah, you go to the Speeders race, Silverback Offroad Speedway. Let's back it up a little bit though. Let's talk about cycle drag and them being there. And Damian can kind of chime in on this as well. He posted some videos and he kind of got some backlash because of the for what we're kind of used to in the sand drag world at some tracks. I'm not gonna say all of them, but some tracks, like I'll just name a couple: Thunder Valley, Atoka, Lumber River. They're not too like the safety gear is recommended. It's not required. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And he had some comments of there and people backlashing, and I mean, some of the videos, I mean, some of them were, I mean, you saw guys in shorts and it's like, whoa. And I mean, it's even some people like wearing just jeans and no gloves. Like I've seen a lot of people getting on to people just about no gloves and things like that. But Dave, what do you think about kind of people coming back and saying those kind of things?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think it's good. And the reason I say that, I could have went to Jack and said, "Hey, Jack, do me a favor. When you see a guy up there with shorts on, don't post that." And Jack would have said, "No problem." He would not have done that. Reason I didn't say anything to him, and I seen what was going on. Let me back up. There was one comment. There was a kid that went down the track without glasses. I happened to catch that comment. We got the kids together, and we found glasses and goggles for all the kids. The track didn't catch it. I didn't catch it. Thank you for whoever it was that commented on that. But as far as the adults go, I think it's better that we let everyone see it. And there's a few reasons. One, and I'll take the heat for it. Like if somebody wants to complain, get a hold of me. Don't call Lumber River. Don't get a hold of Jack. Message me. And I say that because we all are trying to do better with safety, including myself. I need to do better myself. It wouldn't hurt for me to wear a neck brace every time I go down that track, and I don't. So there's things that I need to do as well. But now that it's out there and we got this sport that is growing quickly, we really need to consider the safety aspect of things a lot better than we have. Every one of us, tracks, promoters, racers. And by Jack putting that out there, it's going to make us think about it more. It's going to make the tracks think about it, because if people really start complaining about it, they'll be like, well, hell, I ain't going to go to Lumber River. I'm not going to go to Atoka. I'm not going to go to Thunder Valley or wherever. We're not picking on the tracks, it's just wherever. They're like, why go? I don't want to see somebody get hurt. And then you get the fact of your sponsors. The sponsors may say, hey, I'm not going to sponsor you guys if you guys ain't being, you're out there in shorts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the other one, the big kicker is the insurance companies.
Yeah.
So I think by letting him put that out there, I think it's good. I think it's going to wake us all up, including myself, to do better at my own races and say, hey guys, we need to do better. So I'm all for it. If somebody out there wants to complain, talk to me about it. We'll go over it. But yeah, I'm all for it.
As much as I agree with you, and I do. I mean, we definitely, and as much as I've gotten shit for it, just in my own home track of trying to implement more safety, like I definitely agree. Like safety needs to be implemented a bit more, especially for the kids. But I think people are gonna be kind of rebellious to this idea of more safety at these race tracks, just because they've been used to it for so long and they've been racing without it for so long. But I mean, I've argued against that, saying it doesn't matter. The sport is coming to a time where these kids are even getting faster, and we've seen that.
Totally.
And we have to do our part and protect our kids and protect ourselves just by, adding goggles, which is a great idea. I may have to think about that. Adding goggles and, just the pants, long sleeve shirts that that's not really implemented everywhere, as I was talking about a little bit earlier. But yeah, these tracks everybody definitely needs to step up. I agree, but I also think people are going to be a little rebellious against it too. Damian, what do you think?
Oh, totally. I'm running into that here. Cleves is looking to try and implement fire suits so cars running 415 faster. Because, in all honesty, we take half of these cars we're running with anymore down to a drag strip, set them up for 8th mile. We're going to bust off low 6s to low 4s, or low 4s, depending on the car you're. And hell, they're going to look at half the stuff we run cage wise and tell us we can't run, let alone our safety gear, fire suits, helmets. A lot of people run motorcycle helmets still in cars. And they're just going to look at it and go, no. And that just looks bad on the sport as a whole. I understand some things. We can't really enforce it all right away. Small changes, like, okay, let's start requiring fire suits on cars going X and certain speeds, parachutes on dragsters, alders, and whatnot going over 100 mile an hour. Small changes like that, I think in the long run will help us out.
Dude, I mean, I feel that. My freaking home track used to be like, hey, if you run methanol, then you gotta wear a fire suit, no matter what.
And now your biggest racer down there
Well, I'm not gonna say any names, but I know 2 racers who race in Top Eliminator, and they wear jeans when they're racing.
Yep, and then another top eliminator racer in his bracket car runs in short shorts.
I don't know who that is, but that'd be insane.
Well,
He's a record holder on our. He just reset his record out in California.
Well, here's the thing, guys. Billy, you mentioned it about guys being rebellious about it, and you are correct. That will happen. At the same time, if it's a regular weekend warrior race at a local track, things are a little bit less. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but things aren't looked at as much. But if we get I don't know, John Zorg's race that he's doing, my race, the PSDA, the Jeff's race, those guys, when they go to Jeff's race, and that's coming up at Shelton's here in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
PSDA, whatever.
Yep.
Those guys, they know when they go there, they have to wear pants. They have to wear long sleeves. They'll go. So why can't they do it anywhere else? You see where I'm going with that? Like if I can get my series and everybody else that's doing series, and we get them to realize that if you come here, this is what you have to have, they'll do it. Especially if there's money to be handed out.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that when a couple of Missouri racers went to the very first Shake and Bake. They didn't really know about the long sleeve shirt and pants rule. I didn't either. I was running a side by side my very first time in Michigan, and they stopped me and like, "Hey, next time you come up, wear a long sleeve shirt." I was already wearing pants. I was like, "Oh, okay, I will." Well, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it can happen. It can definitely happen, and I agree with Damian. I think it'd be a mistake if we said, bam, here it is, all this list of stuff, then it's not going to work. But if hey, let's start with pants, jeans, something, and a long sleeve shirt. And then, depending on what they're in, of course. And then maybe next year we can say, okay, now you got to have this. We're going to have to do something, because the last thing we want is to see anyone get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want we don't want
and unfortunately, the mentality among all these racers that are doing this is, well, if I get hurt, I get hurt. Yes, but you aren't the problem. It's the companies that we have to deal with outside of the sport that help us be able to put these races on, insurance companies and the like. Because years ago, there was an incident down in Texas where a mud rail went through a guardrail and hit crowd member.
Yep.
And that affected insurance companies all the way up here into Indiana. For like, here in a couple of weeks, I'm putting on a race at Florence Speedway where we're going to have at least 16 cars. We're running heads up, and his insurance company isn't quite the biggest fan of power adder cars.
Yeah, you gotta be kind of selective then.
Well, and that's the thing. I put that race on the minimum requirement: full fire suit and helmet. You got, no matter what you're bringing, you got to have full fire suit.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fair, but yeah, either way, some of these tracks have to step up, including my own Thunder Valley. I mean, I don't know where it starts, because it's sometimes you kind of gotta fight against some of the old traditions that they're not used to changing. So,
well, let's do this. Let's do this. The viewers, comment. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you think we need to start. Let's hear it from you guys. You got most of the ones that are watching are racers. Let's hear what you got to say.
What, Damian?
All of our tens of listeners right now. Guys need to share this. Post this around. Get us to more eyes to see what we're doing.
Yes, please. We need more Spotify followers. Like a lot more.
Spotify followers, Facebook or YouTube views, you name it. We need more attention on this podcast to help us grow.
Exactly.
Well, I think there's a little something that's in the works, Damian, that might help that quite a bit. Billy knows what that is. And I'm sure you probably already caught on, Damian, but there's a particular guy we're going to have on here hopefully next week. Oh yeah.
But still, promotion.
Yep.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk brought to you by Racing in the Dirt, coming out of Wisconsin. Scott and Shane Ohlrogge and the crew up there, your source for all kinds of good stuff. They are real wheel dealers. They are also scat track dealers. They can do cut tires, everything from ground up chassis builds to all your supplies needed to get that car together in the last couple weeks here for racing season. Check them out on the internet, racinginthedirt.com, on Facebook. You can find them or get a hold of them directly.
All right, we're moving on to the Brazoria, Texas 4-state gauntlet.
Lone Star. It's Lone Star Shootout. That's what they're calling
Lone Star Shootout. Okay, but it was part of that 4-state gauntlet, right?
Yep. Starting
All
up
right.
down there in Brazoria this past weekend.
All right. Well, let's just get right into these results here. I'm just gonna start. We have a list. I'm just gonna start at the top of this list here. Consistency. Your winner was Brian Jammer. Brian Jammer, first place in consistency. Door slammer.
Oh, I was going to get full
Yeah,
explanation.
go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
But-
tell them what
Because the
consistency is.
consistency class, that's more or less a mud racing equivalent to what we do for our bracket races around here. You get, if it's a single lane track, you'll get 2 timed runs. If it's 2-lane track, you'll get a run in each lane. The person who has the 2 closest times together throughout the night wins.
Right. So if me and Damian are the only 2 competitors in the class, and he goes and runs a 2.80 and a 2.82, and I go out there and I run a 2.93 and a 3.01, Damian would win the class because his 2 times were closer together.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. And then door slammer class, we had Bruce Stanford. Wasn't that the guy who had the controversial build?
And the Outlaw Door Slammers, yes. That is a neat little combination he's got there. He took what you'd normally see like this coming week or this next weekend in MRA with the modified class, a nitrous injected rear engine, 150-inch wheelbase rail, and put a truck body on it with doors because the class required a body with doors. So you have to actually enter through the side of the body and all that. I can only imagine how much of a pain that was in a center seat rail.
I wonder what you do when you open the door and there's just a roll cage there. Like you just like, go around it, I guess.
Climb halfway through the windshield and
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
watch you don't bump your
he
head.
crawls through the windshield. The doors are just there. But yeah, I seen that that one photo of it. They kind of got some shit for it. It looked like people
yeah,
were kind of not happy about a unusually long door slammer.
Yeah, a lot of the people outside of the Texas area are the ones that are more up in arms about it. The guys you see normally run like MRA, Outlaw Pro Stock, and the like, which those would be the normal trendsetters for that class. But the rules didn't state anything about it having to be center seat, didn't state anything about wheelbase limit or where the engine could be. It just had to be a door slammer body.
Right, a lot like our UTV rules. It's not explained very well about what you're supposed to do, I guess.
But that's what they wanted down in Texas. They wanted to see the fastest quote unquote truck. Now, if you're wanting to see more of what the Outlaw Pro Stock world has to offer, obviously the MRA's Outlaw Pro Stock, their rules are a lot more limited. The engine's only allowed to be so far from the front axle tube. You're only allowed to set so far back behind the front axle. All sorts of different limits trying to limit the amount of weight you can put on the rear axle.
Well, I grew up racing at Thunder Valley where pretty much anything was allowed. And so if somebody wants to build a 225-inch wheelbase truck, freaking go for it. I think it would be amazing.
Go out there and absolutely demolish the Pro Mod record. It's hard to do right now because God damn, they got it down there far out there in California earlier.
Yeah, it is crazy. But anyway, let's move on with our hot stock results. First place, Kaylee What does that say?
Kaylee
Zwar?
I would say Zwar.
Zwar.
Like
We'll call her
Zwar.
Kaylee Zwar. Second place, Larry Fulkerson. And third place, Glenn Newby. I actually know Glenn. Shout out to Glenn. I met him my first time going to San Antonio. I had a broken leg. But yeah.
Years.
Hot stock. Do you know the rules of that?
I do not right offhand. I'm actually looking up. That's going to be more of like you would see for our pure street gas, smaller tire trucks, probably small blocks, mild big blocks. They probably have to check. Being a local class, you probably have to check vacuum on the motor, which that's normal in mud racing because you build all these wild racing motors we all build nowadays. They don't pull any vacuum. You can't. These style trucks, they have to have the vacuum assist brakes and all that stuff on them still.
Yeah, well, cool. Hot stock. Sounds like a hot class. We'll move on to the 540 class, which I'm assuming is what, cubic inch limit?
I believe so. That is the
okay. So 540, first place. Look at that, Larry Fulkerson Jr. doing what Dad couldn't do and getting it done. First place in his class, and then second place in 540 was Chris Zwar, and well, Kaylee's showing Chris how to get it done. It looks like Kaylee got first in. Look at that, a Zwar beat a Fulkerson in hot stock, and then a Fulkerson beat a Zwar in the 540. It's pretty crazy.
Next up, we got that four-wheel mod class. Ruben Alvarado taking the win there. Glenn Newby, that's a name I've actually heard. I'm trying to remember what he runs in second. And then another Zwar.
Yeah, I just said his name. I told you I met him my first time in San Antonio.
I would say Chris Zwar that was in the 540 class running the same car.
He's got the same number, so it definitely looks like it. Well, cool. But Chris War hitting the podium twice there.
Yes, and that's a fun
class. So is Glenn.
It's a four-wheel drive class. You got to have a truck or Jeep style body with doors, but there's again no limit on chassis.
Okay.
Other than their minimum weight.
Any 200-inch wheelbase trucks?
Nothing quite that long. I actually had the page up here. I had all their rules here a few minutes ago, and I've been going through Facebook trying to find pictures, and
that's all good.
But that class, you generally would see more, like, again, dang it, my brain just went fried again there.
Well, but his brain fried.
But yeah, it's a lot of different combinations within that class.
Well, cool. 4-wheel mod definitely sounds like a hot class. We'll move on to the small block with adders. First place, we had Jimmy, was it Marvs?
Manvez or
Manvaz?
I'm not sure, but that is a badass little truck. He built that to run he's from Mississippi. He built that for the Outlaw 35 class, which is a 3,600-pound class. And it's on a 35-inch cut DOT tire.
Ooh.
And it's in a class full of cars on paddle tires that are 3,100 pounds.
Hey, he's just eating them up. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. That thing, the videos I've seen of it in Mississippi after dark, it's got the candles lit and it's hauling.
Cool. All right, then. Yeah. Well, shout out to Jimmy Manvez for getting first place.
We probably got that wrong. Let us know if we did.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm going to call him Jimmy Man, matter of fact. So Jimmy Man getting first place. Second place, what is that? Angel Cardenas.
Little Vicky bodied rail with doors on it.
Nice. And then third place was Matt Smith.
Right off hand, I don't.
Pro Stock Motorcycle, Matt Smith goes mud racing?
I don't think that's that one.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
But but yeah, the small block power adder class, that seems like it's going to be a great class if they keep doing it. First round, Jimmy Man, or the guy who ended up winning the class, he had a call out from a guy down in Texas running a stock suspension Jeep Cherokee with a giant turbo LS hanging out the hood, like you'd see out in the Middle East with their Nissans, but on bigger diggers, and that thing was just stood straight up and down on the bump.
Awesome. That is awesome. Let's move on to super stock, where past WSDN sponsor Wesley Hodge, shout out to Hodge Electric. Wesley Hodge getting first place in super stock. I'm actually wearing a shirt right now. I didn't even notice that. Yeah, blown asset. Yeah, I am. Wesley Hodge getting first place in super stock. Second place, what does it say? Marvin Pruce, I guess we'll say that. Marvin Pruce. And then third place, Sean Schneider. Wesley Hodge, always a dog in the mud racing scene. Does a lot for the sport, putting together races. I see on his page what he's doing all the time. Always a competitor. So is his wife. So is his kid. The whole family competes. I don't know the specs of his truck, but I know it's badass.
I believe that super stock, anywhere you go in the country, everyone's got different definition. MRA is a lot more liberal with what they're going to do in super stock. Kentucky, in our area, they're still limited to a DOT tire. Down there in Texas, they're allowed to cut. They're allowed a little bit of gutting on the trucks, but they're limited to a 500-inch motor.
Okay. I see. So that was only 500 cubic inch engines racing in that class.
I believe so. I could be wrong on that, but that was the last time I was told about super stock in Texas.
All right. Well, we will move on to the big block class, where Damian knows a little more about this first place winner. First place in big block, Jason Hoskins from your area.
Yeah, Jason Hoskins, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, and a white step side named Your Nightmare, former MRA super stock champion. This truck will run low fours, high threes, and 300 feet when he does run it. He tends to not like to stretch the motor out that far, but he is cranking. He's got some big Bischoff motor power in there. Yeah. I don't know the exact cubic inch, but because the only thing he'll ever tell me is it's some kind of 366 church bus motor.
And Damian just told me right before we started recording, Jason's also going to be at the MRA race.
As long as he gets his headers put together.
In Panama.
Down there in Texas, after the first couple of rounds, his headers started coming apart.
Oh, no.
So he's got to get new headers built before he goes down to Florida, or else he ain't going to have a dog in the fight, because MRA Superstock has gotten insane with some of the cars they're building.
Well, if the parts get there in time, I bet he'll be there.
Definitely.
Second place in big block was Austin Harrison. Third place in big block was Jason Zwar.
So that family putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, Zwar's out there all the time. Small block. This is without power outers. It looks like.
Correct.
First place, Brantley Seiler. Brantley Seiler. What do you know about that truck?
Nothing right off the top of my head. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's fine.
Find him real quick.
No, that's all good. Second place was Matt Smith. Matt Smith getting on the podium again. In third place, we had Marvin Pruce podium once again.
Yep.
And it looks like they had a bracket race, which is that's a little different for 200 foot, right, Damian?
Yeah, not something you see too often. Texas, they do a little bit of that. Some index racing, some brackets occasionally at the local races. It's nice to see them include that in the Texas series. I know in Missouri, when they go there June 1st, which is the same weekend as Billy's race at Shelton's coming up, they're going to have an ET class, which is going to be an open bracket in Missouri. So all of our racers, if you're not going to Billy's race, if your car's set up for 200 foot and you ain't got anything going on, go to this race. Either way, support one of these two races so we can keep growing.
But come to my race. Shelton's Dirt Drags. May 31st, June 1st. Full-size car race.
Oh, yeah, because Shelton's going to be a hook and track.
Yeah, it's gonna be fast, but we'll talk about that soon.
And
Bracket
the Wade-
race. Yeah, go ahead.
Wade Scholes is one of your guys' regulars, isn't he?
No, he's a Texas guy.
I thought he ran in Atoka on occasion.
They'll go there once a month sometimes. Well, he'll go there for national races, but he used to go there once a month for the points races. But I think John Acker just does that. I could be wrong. Wade Schultz might go there every time for the points race. But anyway, he is a top eliminator racer from Texas, though. Him and his son Pruitt are very, very competitive in top eliminator anywhere they go.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Wade Schultz, which I shouldn't be really too surprised. He gets a lot of practice when he goes to Atoka and Thunder Valley bracket racing wise. First place was Wade Schultz. Second place was Slade Hickle. And then third place, what was that?
Either Hickle or Hickey.
Yeah, it looks like Hickle, so I'm gonna say Hickle. If it's Hickey, I'm sorry, Slade. Third place, former WSDN supporter, Jonathan Jeffries. Well, I shouldn't say supporter. I think he's still a supporter. Jonathan Jeffries helped us get to San Antonio our first time there, just like Wesley Hodge and a few other racers and stuff did. But yeah, Jonathan Jeffries getting third place in the bracket race.
Definitely. And from what I've seen of the race, there was all sorts of passes. People, because down there in Texas, it's normal not to run a wheelie bar.
Yeah.
So a lot of trucks, a lot of Jeeps dragging the bumpers, rail, even all guys in Alders and rails don't run wheelie bars down there with blower motors sometimes.
Right. Yeah. It's not too unheard of for sure.
Right. When your car is set up to do that, that's one thing. But no, it looked like it was a great fun race. Lots of heads up, full body trucks, stuff people recognize. From what I could see, the crowd was getting into it, and it looked like a fun race.
Oh yeah, and shout out to Brazoria for putting on a good race. Where are they heading to next? Where's the next state gauntlet at?
Millersville, Missouri, 19174 BCR 368 in Millersville, Missouri.
What's the date?
June 1st. They're going to have $1,000 added to door slammer. So if you've got anything with big horsepower and a body with doors, so a blower truck, nitrous, turbo, four-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, they've got $1,000 plus 100% payback with $100 entry fee. Same with their four-wheel mod class. Anything with a body and doors, naturally aspirated. So if you've got a truck with a wild big block or a rail with a door car body on it, go for it. And then the big block class, which is more of your full-size trucks like you'd see in MRA Super Stocks, Leaf Springs, big cubic inch stock engine location, full body. Again, another $1,000 added to that class as well.
Well, cool. Sounds like they're gonna have a big turnout for that, and good for them. Good for them.
Hey, folks! This episode of Paddle Talk brought to you by Racing in the Dirt, coming out of Wisconsin. Scott and Shane Ohlrogge and the crew up there, your source for all kinds of good stuff. They are real wheel dealers. They are also scat track dealers. They can do cut tires, everything from ground up chassis builds to all your supplies needed to get that car together in the last couple weeks here for racing season. Check them out on the internet, racinginthedirt.com, on Facebook. You can find them or get a hold of them directly.
All right, we're going to do some quick previews with the races coming up just this weekend. So if you're listening to this, they're probably going on as we're talking, or they may have already happened. Who knows? But we're going to start with Atoka Motorsports Park has a points race this weekend. This would be their third points race of the year already. And they got a pretty tight race right here. Pro 1 cars points. John Acker and JT Holstein tied for first place at 55 points. Brad Civil has 50 at third place. Jim Fletcher has 40. Les Dillman with 35 in the top 5 there. Pro 1 quads, Bryce Williams, 60 points. That's a pretty commanding lead. Matthew Lamb has 25 points, and he's in second place. Remember, Bryce Williams racing Keith Ahart's old bike. Legendary. Legendary. Pro 2 cars. It's a tight race there in Pro 2 cars. Jessica Powell and Luke Heisey tied for first place at 55 points each. And then Audra Matthews with 40 points at third place. So it's pretty close right there. Cliff Scholl, fourth place with 35 points, Pro 2 cars. Pro 2 quads, that's a tight race right there as well. Jace Cassins, first place so far, 45 points. Anthony Moss, second place with 40 points. And then Cameron Pate with 35 points. Jace Cassins and Cameron Pate, Atoka, they got that rule. They said that juniors cannot race in Pro 2 and Pro 3 and race in juniors. You're either a junior or you race in Pro 2 and Pro 3. And Jace and Cameron chose to race in Pro 2 instead of juniors, and they're both in the top 3 of points. Jace is in first place and Cameron's in third. So youngins are taking over Pro 2, it looks like. But Anthony Moss is trying to be the lone veteran and take him out. You got 3 people tied for fourth place as well for Pro 2 quads. Pro 3 quads, we have a 3-way tie for first place points. Pro 3 quads, Atoka Motorsports Park. Anita Zerline, Anthony Moss, and Gage Fearhelm each have 40 points, which is pretty crazy. And then Nate Moss, fourth place, has 35 points. And then we got 2 people tied for Pro 3 quads, fifth place. And then we'll round this out with our kids' classes here on juniors. Man, this is close all the way around. I know it's only been 2 races, but it's close. Juniors, Carly Frazier, 40 points. Carson Scholl and Gavin Owens are tied in second place, each with 35 points. Emily Matthews has 30 points. And then you get 3 people tied for fifth place in juniors. Bodie Smithhart, Grace Lynn Williams, and Tristan Durrell. And then Pee-wees, Dalton Thomas, first place with 60 points. Swayze Stevens with 45 points. And then 3 children tied for third place. Chevy Ludi, Grant Rainey, and Israel Wyatt each have 40 points. So that's pretty cool to see. Pretty cool to see. They'll be racing May 18th. What?
Definitely runaways and some real competitive classes there.
Yeah, it's tight all the way around, pretty much except for Pro 1 quads. Pro 1 quads looks like Bryce Williams has run away with this still. But you never know. They still got more races this year, and we'll see if somebody with the last name Kimbley can stop Bryce in his tracks. So next preview, real quick, we're going to talk about the Newtown top 10 truck race that is actually, this episode is actually coming out Friday, May 10th, and they're actually racing today.
Which one of their top 10s at the end of last year, I did just find their list, and their third place truck is our current pure street gas record holder, Thomas Carneal.
Yeah, that thing
is moving.
And by pure street gas, it means it has to be tagged and insured to drive on the road, and it's at the very maximum 35-inch DOT tires. And this dude's out here running killer numbers with this thing, Damian.
440s at a 445 with an 8 at 81 miles per hour.
That's insane.
I'm going out the back door running 4.0s.
That's insane.
Stuck, but he is, from what I understood back then, he was running nitrous. I don't know what the current combo is. I know there's a truck in North Carolina currently trying to be built to go after that. It's going to be running a nitrous LS. There are 2 guys above him, Gavin Davis in second, Bubba Peel in first. I don't know what their vehicles are. I know a lot of the trucks in Newtown, they almost fit our rules. Unfortunately, they get tagged as farm use, which kind of null and voids the ability to be used for the pure street gas record.
I I didn't even know that, and I own WSDN. That's insane. I didn't even know that. Well, yeah, I was about to say, how are these guys, two guys in front of them? I also know that most of these trucks that race at those top 10 races are not even tagged at all. They just
Right.
soup them up and bring them out.
They look like a normal old farm truck. They're tagged for farm use, so you can use it out on the farm. You can use it to go into town, sell, hauling a grain wagon or something like that. Which I don't know. I'd want to do that with a God knows how big block
Yeah,
with
no
a
kidding.
converter. That'd be hard on shit.
It would. It very much would. It very much would. Well, yeah, they are racing tonight. They're racing probably right now as you're listening to this. Who knows?
And if you're here, if you're listening to us, you go to these races and you get some videos for us. Get us some updates on this list. Put names to trucks. Would be
Yes.
wonderful.
Yes, we would definitely appreciate that too. We'll send you a t-shirt. And then we'll wrap up this quick little preview with Silverback Off-Road Speedway in Mears, Michigan is running the pre-runner invasion side-by-side blog weekend. I'm pretty sure. We are pretty sure. Damian's looking it up. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm already typing in Silverback right now just to pull the flyer up.
Yeah, and
Side
yeah.
by side blog race day this Saturday starting at 8 a.m. May 11th. It's side by side blog race day event. So who knows? You may see the Hellforce out there bracket racing an 800 horse Hellcat powered, basically utility side by side running 5.0s, or their 2JP with a 2JZ motor in it, a power glide, and a Ford 9-inch transaxle, basically.
Well, that thing's yeah.
It's a wild race.
Me and Damian were just talking about before we started recording. That thing could be faster. It should be faster.
Oh, definitely. But I think they're just enjoying what they've got.
Oh yeah,
It's more of a toy than a race car to them.
You're going out there with a shitty tune running 350s, and he's just having a ball. And like that thing, I think it'd be 325 index, right? Maybe, right?
I don't know. I don't know the extent of the internals of that motor.
Me neither.
But it's got any 2JZ out there's got potential.
That's very true. That is very true. Well, yeah, Silverback Off-Road Speedway pre-runner invasion side-by-side blog race day happening right now and Saturday, tomorrow.
The classes they got running and events they've got a quick 16 outlaw shootout. Fastest 16 side-by-sides on the property running heads up, anything goes. Then
is that including 2JP?
I would think, but you never know with these guys. Hell, 2JP might be broken by the time they get to that point of the day.
Hell, 2JP might be getting outran.
Oh, yeah. There's some side-by-sides up there in Michigan. I know Brody's probably chomping at the bit to get the chance to go after that AA record.
Oh, yeah, there's some K&T, Evo, or Wayland built machine out there that's just going to put them on notice, probably. Yeah.
Exactly. Then they've got bracket racing, your normal, what we look at every weekend, anywhere we go. The staggered start, slower car gets a head start, don't break out the whole nine. Then they have a short course off-road race. Last year they had a bit of a bad accident during the short course race. They've updated the rules about the roll cages for that. I believe you have to have an aftermarket cage now because there was a side-by-side going down the jump, which their big jump on that track is jumping up onto the tabletop and over it for the landing on the hill drags that they just used for their hill climb this past weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then they're even crazier. They have a long jump competition,
which is the greatest thing ever. We need more of those.
Wild to watch, jumping 60, 70 feet in these side-by-sides. And they wind them up all the way to the back corner of the short course track, and they build a specific ramp just for it. And they will sail these things out and try to wad them up to get the win.
Yeah, I can't wait for videos from that. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. And side-by-side blog's going to put out a huge video in the next couple of weeks about
Jump to JP. We'll say it right now. Jump to JP. We want to see it. You have the money to rebuild it. I believe in you.
Ooh, that'd be a rough landing.
Let it. It'll be great content.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk brought to you by Racing in the Dirt coming out of Wisconsin. Scott and Shane Ohlrogge and the crew up there, your source for all kinds of good stuff. They are real wheel dealers. They are also scat track dealers. They can do cut tires, everything from ground up chassis builds to all your supplies needed to get that car together in the last couple weeks here for racing season. Check them out on the internet, racinginthedirt.com, on Facebook. You can find them or get a hold of them directly.
All right, we're gonna do some previews. Caleb Mings is with us finally. I'm just kidding, but we're gonna talk about the Mud Racing Association's first race of the year at Panama City, Florida, which Dave and I will be at to cover for you guys. So that'd be awesome. And we were just talking about their payouts. I don't know what their payouts are. I guess let me call Scott. Let me see if I can get Scott on the phone. Damian, talk about something.
Yeah, I don't know what the are. I personally have never gotten the chance to go to an MRA race. More of the fact of even when they're close by, they're either on the weekend we're racing here, or the fact that I show up, I have to run modified class. I have to run guys running rails with 900-inch motors.
Yeah, you'd be definitely bringing a squirt gun to a cannon fight in that regards.
Squirt gun? I'd be bringing a fucking boomerang.
Hey, Scott. Hey, we're recording the pod right now. Is that okay?
I'm driving right now. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm talking to Caleb and Damian right now, and we just had some questions about the payouts.
Okay.
What are the payouts like for these classes at these races?
I know what modified is, and I think I know what it is to win. See, it's really above my pay rate.
Even though you guys win quite a bit.
Mod is 1,000. Open is 1,000 to win, and a mod is 900 to win. Now the rest of the classes, I don't know. You know.
I seen there was added money to super stock. There was guaranteed payouts for that each race, 500 at first and stuff.
I'm really not exactly sure where that's at. Shane might know better than me.
Well, I don't have Shane's number. I got your number, so I called you.
Yeah. I don't know. You need to record this right now is what you're doing.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's all
We
good.
can edit out what we need to.
It's all good.
It's good payouts, and that's something that we can get when you're there more than you know how it is. When we win, we know we're, and I can't remember even what second and third is, but I know it's mod is 900 to win both nights. You can win it 2 nights.
Oh. So it's basically $1,800 guaranteed. It's just 900 to first place each night.
Cuts versus paddles.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And then what class did you say was it?
We get 2 payouts, every weekend, depending upon the show, and open is the same thing. I mean, you can win, get first and second, and you got a good paying fuel weekend, But the numbers, I'm not exactly sure where that falls.
Okay. Well, that's still pretty cool. 1,000 to win each night for open.
Open.
Yeah, that's. Well, I mean, like you said, that's good money. That is good money.
And like I said, I know mod is 900, and Outlaw. I don't know where the Outlaw is. Don't get me wrong. We build the chassis and we tell the guys to go race, and they take care of their own. So
yeah, for sure. Well, we are very much excited to be there to cover that race, our first MRA race, and thank you for answering the call and answering our questions so far.
Yeah, you got a crayon handy? You might want to call Shane quick and see if he his number is really easy. It's 920 973 1111.
920-973-1111.
Yeah. Now he might not answer this late because they got a 6-month-old baby and they're kind of they're on one of them schedules. So.
Well, I'll call him tomorrow then.
Yeah, give him a holler. You can always text him at that too. As a matter of fact, I forwarded your information to him the other day, but I didn't do it the other way. So
no worries. We'll get in touch. I'll get in touch with him really soon, and I appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. Just trying to think. Yeah, it's each night is that, and there's if you can see the schedule on Friday night, it's a short schedule. Modified runs paddles, open runs cuts, and then there's pro outlaw. Okay.
Okay.
And then the Saturday night show is the opposite tire on mod and open, which blowers are on paddles and mods are on cuts. And then there's pro stock and super stock on the Saturday night show. So there's 4 classes on the Saturday night show, and super stock goes rounds. They do elimination.
Cool. Okay. And that's the only class.
So I know that they're working on. I know that they're changing up things. They're trying always different things. And I know that one race for every class in one of the races they're going to do, including reaction time or something like that this year. And I can't remember how. Shane knows that better than I do too.
Yeah, it says $250 per class for fastest combined ET.
That is I believe that's even different than the scoring. That I believe, and you can verify this with Shane, that is being donated by George's, the excavating. They're the one that has Shoot the Thrill. They have the Bronco. They have that new one that nobody knows about. Keep it under a hat. And such. And then they have the Jeep. They just got into this. Back in the day, I'm talking 20, 30 years ago, they used to do an animal race at their facility. And they got out of the racing completely for like 25 years, and they're in it strong now.
That's awesome. Well, we see that they're in it strong now, and it's great to see that they're still going. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So if nothing else, give Shane a holler. I know that tomorrow you're going to be on the road, but tomorrow morning he's got to drive over, an hour away to go pick up our old motor for our customer.
Okay.
And we got to get that for the screen car. That's got to get in there. So he's going to fetch that in the morning. If you want to pick his brain, 8 o'clock in the morning.
I'll give him a call at 8 o'clock in the morning. He better be ready because I'll call him.
Yeah, because he'll be on the road over by Goodwin Competition Engines. So
awesome. Sweet.
One of the best engine builders there is in the country, I tell you.
Well, shout out to Goodwin for doing their due diligence and doing business with Racing in the Dirt. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, Todd Goodwin is a smart man.
Well, so are you, Scott, and thank you for answering the phone. I will call you again tomorrow. How about that?
Good to go.
All right, thanks, Scott.
Thank you. Later.
Bye. That's the preview turned into a little time travel, but it's all right. That was I always like talking to Scott. He's full of energy. He's a great guy to talk to. He really is.
He definitely has grown a company out of next to nothing because as the years have gone by, Gary Baker was the go-to man for years with Power Pro. Right now, it seems to be Racing in the Dirt is the go-to company in the mud and sand world for components. Really,
next level shit is what they're doing, man. Like they are. The MRA might just run on Racing in the Dirt because everybody's just running a Racing in the Dirt built car unless it's either Racing in the Dirt or they built it themselves. It's insane. And these guys Racing in the Dirt are just top notch, A1, and they are just next level builds. and they are going to have something at that Florida race. MRA next weekend, May 17th and 18th, Panama City. We will be there, and we'll talk more about it next week as well. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the Outlaw Series race next weekend as well. Next Friday and Saturday, May 17th, 18th at Cleves, Ohio, where Gravelrama is hosted. And Damian, what are we expecting here? What are we expecting here at this first Outlaw Series race?
I would say we're probably going to look at around at least 14, 15 top eliminator cars right off the bat. There's going to be a few that aren't going to make it, especially from the Bull Run Lisbon area. They've got their own deal going on next weekend. They're trying to establish a new track with a local tractor pulling club. So good luck to them.
A new track in Ohio?
In Pennsylvania, right across the state line. But some of the Lisbon crowd is going there instead of coming to Cleves, especially because Bull Run just closed down. They want to make sure they can try and support a new track and get it off the ground, really.
Hey, you know what?
That place that Knopsider is doing?
Dirt.
What was that, Damian? Or sorry, what was that, Caleb?
I was saying if it's a tractor pulling facility, they usually have some good dirt. I think that prepped decently well for sand drags could be a cool facility.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Pulling tracks tend to have a lot of clay in them. So it's probably going to be real similar in surface to Brookville on a really heavy, wet night.
Is that race in Pennsylvania you're talking about? That Tony Knopsider guy was helping put together or whatever?
Yeah, the Appalachian Cash Days.
Okay. Quick preview on that. Appalachian Cash Days at a tractor pulling event, and they're racing this Saturday. But yeah.
Or next Saturday. But
okay, whatever. Sorry. My bad. We'll talk about it next week.
All right.
Okay. And then anyway, we're gonna move on back on track to the Outlaw Series opener at Cleves. And you say you're expecting about 15, 16 top eliminator cars. I
hope so, as long as everyone gets them together. Obviously, we have Farwick, Trice, them two are still ready to go after their amazing showing out there in California. We have Wilson will probably be in the class. Ellington's. We might see Burt Van Benenkom. I'm not sure if we'll see him or not. Trainer, they've got multiple cars they're going to be running. Jack with his blown small block Chevrolet Altered or his Turbo LS dragster. John Trainer's put together a dragster with a blown big block. The list goes on. Craig Gunn, their nitrous big block dragster. It's a large around here. They're the big names, and a lot of them are known to run in the 3 teens and 3 O's, some in the 2 9s, and one even in the 2 6s now.
Wow. Yeah, California's a dog.
That Ohio, Indiana area, like it is definitely the hotbed for top eliminator racing right now. I mean, it used to be that the West Coast was, kind of the kings of that class, but that area is now, we're just seeing these crazy fields, and to have a full 16 car field or close to it at most of these events is pretty crazy. And then obviously we're probably going to see at one of these races, Damian, upwards of 20 cars in top eliminator, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. Last year up there in Michigan, I believe it was a 24 or so, 21 or 24 car field. Oh, it was 25. My bad. But 25 cars in top eliminator, ranging from Broncos, Volkswagens, turbos, small blocks, nitrous, you name it. There was
a Pro Charged Jeep that we just saw.
Yes.
Set some quick times over in Michigan I know you guys were talking about the hill climb. They did some flat track test and tune, and Todd Bilsma over there, that Pro Charged Steve Morrison engine
the
Jeep.
Wine
time. Man, you guys need to check out the pass of that thing. It was hooking up at Silverback and ran a 309.
Yes.
And that's going to be our new A Sport modified and A Sport modified 4-wheel drive record. And spoke to Todd actually earlier today. He is going in the 2s. That's his next goal.
There right now there's 2 big cars going for that. There's going to be 3 here before long. 4 probably if Willie Bursley has anything to say about it.
Yeah.
That Michigan is really for the A Sport modified crowd. That is the place to be.
They are.
Unfortunately, the guy that really set the bar in A Sport modified unfortunately left us earlier this year. Brian Harrison. He still holds the mile per hour record at 106 mile an hour, running low 3.3s, high 3.2s.
And that was set at Brookville too.
Yes.
Yep. Which Brookville will be the series finale of the Outlaw series in September. But it looks like Friday night of the Spring Fling Outlaw series opener. You guys got the same old King of the Outlaws, which if you don't know what that is, it's top eliminator, 295 index. So you see posts about King of the Outlaw, it's 295 index, it's top eliminator. It's nothing crazy. And then you got your 4.0 index, which all cars will dial in at 4.0. You got your 350 index and your outlaw bracket. So Damian may not get any video of the 4.0 or the outlaw brackets if he decides to go rounds that night.
Yeah, very.
If he decides to go rounds.
4.0 class, might have to turn the bottle up a little bit at Cleves more than what we did at Grayson, but I'm going to do my damnedest to go rounds in 4.0. I was going rounds at the end of the year at the Outlaws race in Brookville when Mother Nature came in. I took out the guy that ended up winning the points, Carson Combs, and was getting ready to race the guy that was chasing him, Brian Jones, because Brian had to win the race from that point to have passed Carson.
This is another opportunity for you to best your 009 and try to beat my 001. Yeah. So let's not forget about
that. Then obviously we have the 350 class, another decently sized class in this area. I don't know if they're going to make it, but I would love to see Chad Ruiz come down. He is always a contender in the 350 class. You have Rodney Upchurch, Blake Cole. There's so many cars in this area that run in that 350 bracket that'll either slow down from a 340 or or just play the game and running 360s, knowing they aren't going to break out.
Shout out to Team Cole Racing. Just want to say
they definitely help us out a bunch too with this WSDN stuff. They are big supporters of the page. They love seeing all the videos and stuff we put together.
They're also sponsoring my race at Shelton's. Shelton's full size and car race, May 31st and June 1st. Shelton's Dirt Drags, 1 Yates Road in Stanford, Kentucky.
I hope we get a bunch of the top limit cars that are coming to Cleves make the trek down there.
Yep. And on Saturday of the Spring Fling Outlaw Series opener, King of the Outlaws, top eliminator. They'll do their, I should have said this, on Friday, King of the Outlaws will do their first two qualifying passes. And then on Saturday, they'll do their third and final qualifying pass. And then they'll start racing later that night. And then they'll also have a sportsman bracket, which is, what we all know and love, regular bracket racing, open bracket, NEET. And then you got Outlaw Index, Pro Light, 450 and faster, and it is chip pool. Is this something that we could see Mr. Damian Bowers racing?
That's the plan. I'm kind of the co-defending champion with Blake Cole.
Oh, I just seen this. Dialed to the nearest 10th. So it's 450, 440, 430, 420, 410, 40, all the way down through the threes.
And I ain't gonna lie, I tend to dial to the slow side. Easier to lose a 10th than it is to gain it back.
What do you think you're gonna dial? Guess it right now.
I'd say probably a 440.
440. So you're gonna run an aspirate. There's no nitrous when you do that.
No
is
need
that pro
to.
light class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
450, it's a staggered pro tree. The 4-lane chip draw is what we do, what Michigan does. It's 4 rows, guy at the front of the line standing, he's got a bag with 4 chips in it. Lane 1, you got lane choice. Lane 3, you're going to the other lane.
Gotcha. All right.
Kids classes also racing Saturday.
What's that again?
Kids classes on Saturday as well.
Kids class starts Saturday morning, Pee-wees and juniors.
Pee-wees and juniors. Sweet.
We've got a few actually bumping up from the juniors into the adults.
Well, good. We like to see that after
Yeah.
time goes on. You know, the youngins start and the new generation's got to roll in. And next thing you know, we'll just have adults class full of millennials, hopefully. But class pricing for these outlaw bracket race, the outlaw bracket on Friday night, $30. 4-0 bracket, $50. 350 bracket, or excuse me, 4-0 index, $50. 350 index, $70. King of the Outlaw, $150. That's 100% payback. Sportsman bracket, $35. And Outlaw Index, $30. Pee-wees and juniors, $5 entry fee. That might be cheapest in the country right there.
$5. Come on, get those kids out there. That's the best $5 you'll ever spend.
That's literally the best $5 you will ever spend. And yeah.
Class, you register for one of these classes, you're automatically in the points for the season. So if you end up going to Michigan with us, going to Franklin County, you realistically got a shot.
And you know what? I'll say this too for the kids out there. If you're a parent and you don't got, a vehicle for those kids to race, I bet you if you show up to one of these races and ask around the pits, I bet you that there's a pit bike or a golf cart or something that has your kid's name on it.
It all starts with something. My kid started out on a piece of shit Chinese quad that ran 29 seconds in 300 foot.
The bad thing is that is the easiest thing to win on in kids class.
It is though. It was crazy. First race on it, he got second place. I was like, "What happened?" That's crazy.
You're like, "Oh crap!"
But now he's stepping up. I mean, unpopular opinion, he's going to be 10 years old and he's going to be running in the 5s, maybe even the 4s. Who knows? I mean, he's stepping up. So it starts with something to have these kids step up. It's really awesome to see. But yeah, $5 for Pee-wees and juniors. Get your kids out there. What are y'all doing?
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk brought to you by Racing in the Dirt coming out of Wisconsin. Scott and Shane Ohlrogge and the crew up there, your source for all kinds of good stuff. They are real wheel dealers. They are also scat track dealers. They can do cut tires, everything from ground up chassis builds to all your supplies needed to get that car together in the last couple weeks here for racing season. Check them out on the internet, racinginthedirt.com, on Facebook. You can find them or get a hold of them directly.
All right, let's go and talk some Avenal racing. Was over there this last weekend. Unfortunately, I missed the Friday action. There was some carnage. We saw.
Why'd you miss Friday?
Well, I had to work.
You work?
Yeah.
I thought you just did this all the time.
Yeah, it seems like it sometimes, but but yeah, no, I missed it. I was at work and I drove out there and heard about all the carnage that happened. First accident of the weekend. Willie, I'm sorry, I don't know his last name. It's a Jeep that unfortunately I don't know if they're going to be able to salvage much from it. I heard that they bent the frame a little bit on it. Beautiful kind of like baby light blue Jeep. Got out of shape. I'm sorry?
It was gorgeous.
Oh, it's a gorgeous Jeep, and it's been in the sport for a long time through a couple different owners, and just got out of shape and kind of overcorrected a little bit, and it just flipped it over, broke the front end off of it. It's pretty spectacular fashion. Thankfully, Willie was okay. So no worse for the wear on that, other than a couple, bumps and bruises, as is typical when you get into an accident like that. The second thing that was kind of crazy that happened, did not see any pictures or videos of this, but Mr. Pro Gambler himself, Chris Wells, in his Jeep, the bolts in his steering rack sheared off, and he had no steering going through the finish line.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it's not fun when you're trying to steer it and it is going the opposite direction. He actually almost came into contact with Safety Dave over there, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? You're pointing straight at me."
I'm gonna call Chris for word on this. I did not know about that.
Yeah, no, it was a wild ride. He was telling me, and he was saying, yeah, it definitely woke him up. And next pass, we was pretty nervous about it.
I've had a similar incident at Franklin County. go out the shutdown, it hit a bump, whole car feels like it comes off the ground. I go to turn the wheel and it just spins. Doing 75 mile an hour. That is an eerie feeling. I'm glad he didn't end up rolling it. Shows that the car drives straight, it rolls straight. Shows that
I mean, for the most part, he did end up turning left pretty hard towards the left end of the track. I don't know which lane he was in. So but luckily it went after that turn, it went straight and didn't keep turning.
Well, he didn't answer, but next time I talk to him, I'm gonna ask him about this.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to get Chris on here eventually. But the last accident was probably the scariest one, and that was Adam Ross in the Area 51 top eliminator pickup truck. He ended up Blaine Kilby chassis, Hemi supercharged. I believe it had a PSA on it.
Shout out to Blaine Kilby, KCD.
And man, I felt so bad because I mean they wrecked that truck the last event they were out with. Went through some of the finish sensors and it tore up some of the body and messed up their tires and stuff. Got it all fixed and they were on a good pass with it, and something that half track kind of broke loose on it, made a hard left turn. The Avenal track has like a groom surface and then kind of a hard pack safety area before the guardrails. He got down into the hard pack and burnt the throttle a couple times, almost saved it, and it just grabbed and sent it over. Same thing, Adam was okay. They took him to the hospital Friday night, and I saw him back at the track Sunday. I don't know if he was back on Saturday or not, but he was out there and he's like, yeah, I'm a bit sore, and he's bummed about the truck. Chassis is toast. He said, if they could salvage it, there would be so much front and back halving that they'd have to do that there wouldn't be much of the original chassis left over. So they're going to take the drivetrain of that, and he said he wants to go after that A4-wheel drive record still. So
yeah, they have the combination to do it.
They absolutely do. And I mean, I'll give a shout out to Ross Racing. They had a rough weekend. The Apache truck that we've seen all over the internet, doing crazy wheelies. It's a big 57 Apache pickup, step side, full 300-foot wheelies. It's a big, blown Chevy big block in it, and they've been having issues with it. It caught fire the prior event, and they thought they replaced all the wiring and stuff in it. Found that they had wires underneath the dash that they kind of passed over, didn't realize it. Thought they fixed it. They've fought with it all weekend. It made some decent passes, but was kind of cutting in and out. So they didn't quite ever get that thing figured out. And then their blue pickup as well, it broke a rear end. So they just and we'll give a shout out to Tyler Ross, driving their Polaris Razor. He was actually racing it into the sport classes now, so he's out of the kids classes and that. Set some National Junior Dirt Drag records with it, and they threw a belt on it and welded the clutch together. So rough time for Adam Ross and Ross Racing, but hopefully
Dave Applegate feels the pain of losing the clutch.
Yeah, anytime you got those belt slippers, man, it's what happens.
Well, definitely shout out to Ross Racing for like just the efforts of still showing up and like staying out there with everybody after that happens. Like that's
absolutely.
That's really cool to see that.
So after all that carnage happened, we actually got into some racing. So
Friday was the day of Eric. Jesus.
Oh man, Eric Brown. He went out there. He took first place in the 395 index over Kevin Williams. Shout out to Kevin. He is still enjoying his retirement from Sand Drag Racing by continuing to go to Sand Drag races. So shout out to Kevin.
Sweet, shout out to Kevin. Never retire.
And then Eric took the Friday Pro Gambler win over Sam Montgomery. Shout out to Sam. Sam helps out a ton with the Avenal track. I believe I was told that Friday Gambler was a 60-car field. So pretty good payday there for Eric.
That's awesome. And shout out to Sam Montgomery for buying a shit ton of our photos every time. That's love
Absolutely.
Sam.
And Sam's got some cool Jeeps of his own.
Yes.
And then the motorcycle gambler, Eric Young, taking the win over David Markle. Eric, he's on a big boy bike now, I like to call it, Honda 450. And
Okay.
I heard that he cut like a crazy light against David in the final there, so he definitely earned that win in the motorcycle gambler.
Well, if he would have sent in his time slip, he could have won a free T-shirt. Nobody
You know what? We tried to let people know. So
yeah, losers. All right. Saturday.
So Saturday's the sport classes. They ran 3 sport car classes. Sport 1, Joseph Weaver over Wyatt Bohard.
Can you remind us of the time breaks?
Sport 1,
like 350 to 4 something.
350 to a 450. Sport 2 is a 451 to a 6 flat. And
Okay.
Sport 2 was Linda Robertson. That's Kenny Hayes' girl. This is her second time racing the Jeep. She was out there foot braking it. Again, having some crazy reaction times, like an 020 light, foot braking her second time racing the Jeep. And she got the win over David Ridenour driving his son's truck, because obviously Colton, he's Curtis. Curtis, what am I saying? I'm getting that people mixed up. Curtis not able to be at the race after an accident on an ATV out in the dunes. So his dad taking second place in the truck.
Shout out to Curtis, rest up, big dog.
Yes, sir. And then Sport 3, which I believe is a 6 flat and slower class.
Jesus Christ,
that was Taylor Ayers.
Huh?
Oh, dude, it's so much fun though. People bringing all their farm trucks and stuff. You see the side by like the stock like non-turbo side by sides. It's a blast because everybody's running big full-size steel farm pickup trucks.
Taylor Ayers looks like he drives a Pro 3, a Sport 3. It just screams.
He's definitely on the faster end though. And he took the win over Wyatt Andrew.
Nice.
Motorcycle sport classes. Actually, we're gonna skip over that for now. We're gonna talk about the Saturday Pro Gambler because they ran basically through the sport cars. Okay. Then they ran the Saturday version of the Pro Gambler, and once again, Mr. Pro Gambler himself, Chris Wells, taking first place over Kenny Hayes this time. Kenny almost made the double up between him and Linda. That would have been pretty cool to see, but Chris is back in the winner's circle there.
Shout out to Burris Racing.
So, reason why I wanted to save the motorcycles for last. So, through the ending of the Saturday Pro Gambler, some weather was coming in. That, again, that 4-letter word that Mr. Applegate does not like to say. It started as a mist and got a little bit heavier. They were able to finish out the cars, but it started coming down pretty good by the time they were in test and tune for the sport motorcycles. So there's some fun photos of those guys racing in the rain. I honestly was shocked that they did not call the race and just say, hey, we got to wait or we got to put this tomorrow. But they kept at it. Motorcycle Sport 1, we got Wesley Fuller took the win over Mike Miller. And then Motorcycle Sport 2, Bobby Marshall taking the win over Axel. I apologize, I'm going to butcher this. Covarrubias. I hope that's how you Man, Axel, I am sorry, dude, but your last name is probably the longest last name in all of the Avenal competitors.
Yeah, that's a very Covarrubias. That's all. I mean, that's great job, Caleb. I'll give you props for that.
So that rounded up Saturday.
I think didn't they continue something from 2023?
You are correct. They did. So part of the Saturday race, they actually had a Pro 1 final that they reran because of an issue. I think with the tree didn't drop or something happened at the 2023 Fall Nationals. So Pro 1, we saw Scotty Burris take the win over Chris Helmuth.
They had to rerun a race from the fall, and they held it all the way to now.
Yep.
Are you serious?
They've done that before. They've done that before with
I thought that was
weather
because the race got rained out or something. You said they had to rerun this race because of a fault with the lights, and they waited until April to do it.
Yeah, so I think what happened with it is that there was a fault with the lights, and it was something. I think Scotty actually broke a rear end.
My God, that's a long time to stay pissed off about a freaking rerun.
Well, they went through and did it, and as far as I'm aware, it was a mutual agreement to rerun it, and I don't think that they had any issues rerunning that race because they didn't actually have the ability to run it in the fall. So
reran the race 6 months later. That's insane.
Jesus.
That's insane. But hey, shout out to Scotty Burris. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Scotty earned it. So
6
rain
months later.
ended.
6 months later, you earned it, Scotty.
Rain ended, and thankfully it's so funny. They literally finished eliminations on the sport motorcycles, and like 10 minutes later, the rain was completely stopped.
Oh.
Sun came out. It was beautiful. Obviously, if they had started running at that time, the track was pretty soaked, so it was a bit of a muddy mess.
Yeah.
It was all good by Friday morning, or Sunday morning rather. They went back at it with the pro motorcycles. Motorcycle Pro 1, Tessa Nunez taking the win over David Markle, which is cool because Kicksan, one of her big sponsors, was out there doing the event t-shirts.
Awesome.
And Motorcycle Pro 2, we saw Eric Young taking the double up, and he took the win over Bobby Marshall.
Hey, there you go. Shout out Eric.
Couple of 4 strokes in there for the Motorcycle 2 class.
Shout out to the youngins taking over the motorcycle ATV classes out on the West Coast too, by the way.
Then we went into the Quick 8 truck, which that was a class that they started on Friday. Friday night, in addition to having all of these wrecks, they also were having weird issues with the timing system. From my understanding, there was things where they weren't getting like a finish sensor was messed up, so it wasn't getting times in one of the lanes. So when I got there Friday, they were up till 2 a.m. fixing the sensors. Wow. Shout out to everybody that was out there.
Shout out to that staff staying up that late working on that. That's crazy.
Absolutely.
What they run at that track?
It was a porta-tree system. That's the funny thing.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I thought we could shit on Race America together.
Exactly. That's what we were all saying. Is like this shouldn't happen on porta-tree, but I think it was a wiring issue, and it was just a weird gremlin that they found. And after they fixed it, it ran fine. So they started running the Quick 8 truck class on that Friday before the lighting issues said, hey, we got to call it. But they ran the remainder of it after the motorcycles. So Quick 8 truck, Blaine Oliveira taking the win over Chris Pintor. Now, remember, folks, the Quick 8 truck there for Avenal, it kind of functions like the Pro truck out in Michigan. So it's not a heads-up thing. It is a dial-in, but they take the quickest 8 pickup trucks for the class.
Cool.
After that, they went into the kids program. Junior dragster, we saw Alexis Pritchard in her Polaris Razor taking the win over Roxanne Hernandez. The juniors, we saw Hunter Neil Cook taking the win over Caden Fulton. And then in the youth, we saw the Sora's sisters taking the podium there, with Sage winning over her sister Scarlett.
Oh, wow. Another reason to hate each other. Look at
that. No, they seemed like they were having a good time with it. I mean, the whole family was really having a blast. And we'll go ahead and continue because the Soros family continued winning. Pro 3, we saw April, their mom, take the win over Blaine Oliveira, who ran in that Quick 8 truck final.
Nice.
Pro 2, we saw David Costa taking the win over Wes Johnson.
Shout out Dave, my dog.
I didn't get a chance to hang out with David as much as I wanted to, but
well, what the hell? You should always say hi to Dave.
I said hi. But I usually go over to their pit and hang out at night.
I just realized you said Costa.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Costa. Okay, David.
Oh, maybe it's Costa. He hasn't corrected me. Dave, tell me how to pronounce your last name.
Yeah, what's your name, Dave?
And then Pro 1, Chris Wells getting the double up, winning over Eric Brown. So finally putting a stop to Eric Brown's tyranny over all of the racing.
No,
Well, if it was one person to do it, it was definitely gonna be Chris. Let's be honest. If it's gonna be somebody, it's gonna be Chris.
Which, by the way, that buggy freaking is cool now.
Yeah,
I mean, they
looks
redid
great.
the whole thing.
Hardtail car.
Yes.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, the buggy. Under our rules, it's not a buggy anymore. But
it wouldn't.
It was a buggy.
It was always kind of. It was always kind of a weird hybrid there. Buggy.
But it's
definitely a cool looking car, and it runs.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
it
definitely
freaking runs.
Chris is the man for sure.
And he did not have any steering issues for that one.
Well, that's good. I will say because that one would be scary to have steering issues with.
Yeah.
And that one falls under an old adage for me for bracket racing. A lot of tire and really light. It has no choice but to be consistent.
Right. For sure. And it is. That it is. Go ahead.
And then to wrap out the evening, we had a Yabba Dabba Doo racing final in top eliminator with Jim Navziger taking the win over Terry Crawford.
Oh my god.
Them boys have been on a roll out there, ain't they?
Barney's been on it, man. Barney, Fred in the final, and then Barney gets the win over Fred. That's crazy.
Yeah, they had a pretty good weekend.
Shout out to Terry Crawford. It's my dog also. Shout out to Jim Nasser getting the win. Shout out to all the winners from Avenal. That's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yep. It sounds like other than a little bit of carnage at the start, it was a great weekend.
Yeah, a little bit of carnage, a little bit of weather there the end of Saturday, but pretty good turnout. And we'll see them back there at the end of October.
I was about to say you don't go back there until October. That's crazy. So
hopefully it'll be warmer in October because it was kind of windy and cold, especially Saturday.
Are there any more reruns that are going to be ran 5 months from now?
Not that I know of, but you never know. As far as I know, these are official results.
Who knows? Eric Brown might contest that Pro 1 final against Chris Wells and try to get that win back.
Hey, wait a minute. My dial-in wasn't right.
That's what the scoreboards are for.
Hey, folks, this episode of Paddle Talk brought to you by Racing in the Dirt coming out of Wisconsin. Scott and Shane Ohlrogge and the crew up there, your source for all kinds of good stuff. They are real wheel dealers. They are also scat track dealers. They can do cut tires, everything from ground up chassis builds to all your supplies needed to get that car together in the last couple weeks here for racing season. Check them out on the internet, racinginthedirt.com, on Facebook. You can find them or get a hold of them directly.
That is the end of Paddle Talk. On behalf of myself, Dave Applegate, Damian Bowers, and Caleb Mings, we need more followers on Spotify. So please go to our Spotify and press the follow button. Damian, what?
Our Spotify, our YouTube, our TikTok, our Facebook. Like, share, subscribe.
Please.
Follow us. Hit the bell. You name it.
Buy our photos. All of them. Just buy them all because they're great photos, great quality. And
we all put a lot of effort in to try and get you the best pictures we can with the equipment we have.
Absolutely.
And the more you guys invest in us, the more we can invest in bringing you better coverage in the future.
Supporting us is supporting the sport. Remember that. We'll see you guys next week for the next episode.